What's going on, everybody? It is that time again. Sooners Illustrated game preview time. Week 7, Game 6. Had a bye week in the middle there, but we're refreshed. We're ready to go. The Red River rivalry. Number 18, Oklahoma. Number 1, Texas. Saturday, 2:30 p.m. kick. Normally 11 a.m. We're back at 2:30 at the State Fair of Texas in Dallas, the Cotton Bowl. Josh Callaway, James E. Jackson, Tom Green. We're all going to be there. We're fired up. It's the greatest rivalry in the sport. It's the best. It's one of a kind. All those things everybody knows. It's the best. And we're very excited to be there. We're going to set the stage here. A little game preview. Guys, obviously, this is Oklahoma's toughest test so far. I mean, Texas is number 1. They're undefeated. They haven't really been tested so far this season. Part of that is the schedule, a big part of it, frankly. Their biggest win over Michigan kind of looks lighter and lighter with each passing week, but there's little doubt that this Texas team is really good. Certainly looked at as one of the top contenders for the national championship. But this is the OU Texas game. Anything can happen. It feels like we're set up for more circus on Saturday. Going to be a lot of fun, though. Can't wait, as always.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to experience it again. Going to be a little bit different with a 2:30 kickoff. We'll have a little bit more time to explore the fairgrounds before the game than we did last year. And,
for sure.
Hopefully get out of there a reasonable hour afterward. But, I mean, I was impressed with my first experience last year, and I'm excited to experience it again.
Yeah, man, it's one of those games when rankings and records just do not matter in this one. I mean, it's you never know what's going to happen in this game. So we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously, OU is going to be the underdog in this one. You saw this point spread. It's still at 14, I think, 14 and a half, somewhere around there, going to this game. So they're a big underdog, but we'll see what happens with OU. And can they get Sooner Magic once again? I mean, they did it 2 weeks ago, I guess, is when it was. But so let's see what happens here.
100%. Obviously, everyone remembers last year's game, which was an all-timer. Oklahoma, the signature win of the Brent Venables era so far. Hoping for more of the same this weekend in Dallas. Texas, like we said, 5-0, 4th year under Steve Sarkisian. They looked the part so far. Little injury report here for Oklahoma. Taylor Tatum is back, which is obviously a good lift for that running game. Deion Burks listed as questionable on the availability report on Wednesday night. ESPN's Pete Thamel, just before we start recording this on Thursday, does not look like he's going to play, which is not unexpected. That's kind of seemed like the way things were trending. Get that questionable designation doesn't really give you a lot of hope. And so it doesn't look like Deion Burks is going to be back, which isn't great. Back on the positive side, Deshaun McCullough is going to be back, going to make his season debut on Saturday, so get a lift there. On the defensive side for Texas, all eyes are on Quinn Ewers. He is going to be back as expected. Steve Sarkisian confirmed that on Thursday that Ewers is going to be making his return from missing the last couple of games. Arch Manning filled in for him. So both teams are relatively healthy. I mean, we talked about it a little bit on Monday. Texas, their whole running back room was depleted really before the season. Oklahoma's wide receiver room continues to be completely in shambles. Top 5 guys look like they're going to be out again on Saturday. So work cut out for OU, obviously, as they go against the Longhorns here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We'll start with our keys to the game as we usually do. Just some things that we're watching for that we feel like Oklahoma needs to do to win this game on Saturday. I think I'm actually starting. I'll make it quick. My key, number 1, run the football. I don't know if they're going to be able to, but they got to if they're going to win. Oklahoma has not ran the ball well this season. The best they ran it was probably their last game against Auburn. Javonte Barnes had a couple of nice moments. Obviously, Michael Hawkins gives them another dynamic in the run game. I just mentioned Taylor Tatum is going to be back. Texas has not faced a murderer's row of quarterbacks by any means. It's actually been quite bad so far, but they have a top 5 passing defense. I think they're number 2 in passing defense, maybe number 3. Top 5 for sure. They're really good on the run too. I think they're top 30, but if you're going to move the football consistently, I think with Javonte Barnes on the ground is going to have to be the way. I don't envision Michael Hawkins going to just throw it all over the yard against this Texas defense with all the receivers out. I think you run, you set up the pass for a couple shots down the field, maybe like we saw with J.J. Hester against Auburn. But I think the number 1 key for Oklahoma, they've got to find a way to run the football. There's just no way you're going to win this game trying to throw it all over the place, in my opinion. So run the football, my number 1 key for Oklahoma on Saturday. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'm going to flip to the defensive side here. Texas has been one of the most explosive offenses in the country this season, and I think to me the biggest key for Oklahoma is going to be limiting some of those explosive pass plays. For as good as this defense has been this season, I mean, we talk about how opportunistic they've been with the turnovers. The pass rush has been so much better. They've been great against the run, but they've been susceptible to these chunk plays through the air. Auburn had 5 plays of 30 or more yards. I know one of them came on the last play of the game, but you gave up 2 long touchdowns there. You gave up 1 long touchdown to Tennessee and a couple other big passing plays, and you just can't allow that to happen against a Texas offense that, even though that wide receiver room is like completely made over, it's still a very talented group. Isaiah Bond coming in from Alabama has been really good. Matthew Golden from Houston. They got a freshman in Ryan Wingo, who's also been kind of electric for them. So to me, if Oklahoma can continue playing like it's been playing on defense, but limit some of those bigger plays in the passing game, it's going to do a lot to just take away that element of Texas offense. B, it'll help with the field position battle in the long run, because you might be able to get some more 3-and-outs situations like that and just win the field position, which Oklahoma's been very good at doing this season. And again, just try to make Texas earn those yards. Like, you can't give up these quick 3-play 70-yard touchdown drives. You need to limit them and take away that element of what Quinn Ewers can do.
I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say, Tom. It's those big plays. Like we've seen it. Bill Belichick. when he was with the Patriots, it was always trying to take away the biggest strength of the other team. That's what they always focused on, and it seems that's what Steve Sarkisian. That's like his number one thing is going deep. So I'll go a different route just because of that. Let's just say OU needs to win this turnover battle. Like, they have to win that again here. Like they did it against Auburn, and that's what helped them win that game. That's what happened. That's what has to happen for them to beat Texas. They did it last year with Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers had a very good game in terms of stats. He was all over the place. He threw for 300 yards, but he had 3 crucial turnovers. I mean, that was one of the biggest things that OU was able to capitalize on. If you can do that, take your time on offense. I like what they did against Auburn. They didn't go to that hurry-up offense a lot of times. They took their time, ran the clock, do as much of that as you can. I think OU can pull this out if they do all that.
I completely agree. And frankly, all of our keys there: run the ball, avoid the big play, win the turnover battle. They need to probably do them all. The reality is that Oklahoma can absolutely win this game. We're going to pick it in a little bit, but they're going to need to play their best game so far. I think that's completely fair. The way they played to this point won't get the job done. And so those are all going to be vital things to get this done. Avoiding mistakes. Michael Hawkins has been really good about that. That's going to be very important on Saturday. What about some players to watch? There's a lot of directions I think you could kind of take this. I mean, Oklahoma's got a lot of guys that they need to play well. Kind of that going right off that same point I made. A lot of guys are going to need to have their best game of the year to come in there and get this thing done. Where are the players to watch for you guys, Tom? You can start as far as this is where your focus is going to lie. If this guy steps up, Oklahoma's going to be in good shape.
Yeah, I think, obviously there's plenty of guys that are going to need to step up in this game. But one that I'm really interested in is Taylor Tatum. How depleted the wide receiver room has been.
I agree.
And just, you kind of talked about some of the ineffectiveness in the run game. Getting him back, he can help with both those elements. He's averaging 6.5 yards per carry this season. Obviously been limited attempts so far, but he's averaging 6.5 yards per carry. He's the guy that they can split out wide and do some things in the passing game. And I think with Michael Hawkins having a running back like Taylor Tatum who can alleviate some of the pressure there with whether it's a dump off or screens or wheel routes, doing something out of the backfield there. I think that can help this passing game, even with the top 5 wide receivers out. So getting Taylor Tatum back after he missed that Auburn game and, really most of the Tennessee game, I think that can be really, really key for this offense. And just in terms of, generating a little bit more momentum and sustaining drives.
Listen, we talked about the report before this. Deion Burks is going to be out. So that's all 5 of the best receivers on OU's team is not going to be there. So I think one of the biggest, keys players to watch, JJ Hester. I mean, we saw last week, 2 weeks ago against Auburn, he kind of came alive, and that helped out that offense a lot because you can't just throw to the tight ends throughout the entire game. You got to get another receiver out there. Brendan Thompson obviously is going to have his say playing his former team and things like that. But, JJ Hester was the deep threat that showed up against Auburn. Can he do that again? 3 receptions for 86 yards for him, and he hadn't had a catch before that. He said it was a big confidence boost, getting that type of play. Can he build on that? If he can be really good here, I think it opens up OU's offense and their passing game a lot more. So I think JJ Hester's one player to watch.
Yeah, both great picks. Tatum in the run game, he's been arguably the most effective runner in the limited sample size. And then, JJ Hester, we've been dying for someone to step up. And he did it at the end of the Auburn game. Can he build on that? Those are both great picks. I'll go defensive side. I'll take kind of an obvious one, Deshaun McCullough. I talked about it at the beginning. He's going to be back making his season debut. He was really big in this game last year. They need, Kendall Dolby's out, right, for the season, so they need someone to step into that cheater role. Samuel Masigo's done a nice job. I think Deshaun McCullough is one of those guys. I've been a big fan since he's been here. He's one of those freakish talents. Like, he can elevate your defense to another level. I'm fascinated to see, just how he looks, because he hasn't played. Now, he's been in pads a couple times, hasn't seen the field yet, but he's been practicing for a few weeks, as Brent Venables said. Like, they haven't been rushing him. He's been gearing up for this, I think, like this game in particular. And so I'm very intrigued to see what he looks like, or what kind of an X factor he can be for this OU defense, which is going to be, playing with their hair on fire, obviously, with the test and also coming off of last year, all that stuff. So Deshaun McCullough is a big one for me. He was great in this game last year. Can he replicate something similar to that again? And I'll give you one bonus one, another very obvious one, but it just feels like he deserves a little bit of a shout out, is Danny Stutzman, just because this is his moment, right? I mean, he lives for this. We all remember last year, Texas earlier in the week when they had some player availabilities. I'm failing to remember who said it. I should have looked up before, but it's on our Homes 24/7 website. When you guys go check it out, anybody tuned in, they were asked kind of about Danny Stutzman and all that happened last year, the week before the game. And basically they acknowledged, like, we remember what happened. And they want revenge so bad on Danny in particular. And so that's going to be a fascinating little storyline throughout the game, just kind of watching that back and forth. This is Stutzman's last Red River game. And again, he lives for this. This is where he's at his best, is these kind of spots. So I'm excited to watch him, in this moment one last time on Saturday as well. Any other guys for you guys, though, from some little X Factor players that are going to be key, you think?
Michael Hawkins. No.
I mean, yeah.
Again, it's low-hanging fruit.
You
but
can do him anytime.
Yeah. No, I think R. Mason Thomas is another one to watch. I mean, he's, we talked about it. He's been the closer. Whether this game gets to a point where it's late in the game and Texas is in obvious passing situations and he can pin his ears back, we'll see about that. But if they can get a good pass rush early in the game and affect Quinn Ewers a little bit, I mean, he's the guy that's going to be the one, kind of leading the charge there, like he has all season. 5.5 sacks through 5 games. He's been one of the most effective pass rushers, in the SEC this year. So, up front, I think it starts with him against a very, very good Texas offensive line that I think leads the nation in pass blocking efficiency per Pro Football Focus. So they're going to have their work cut out for him or for them. And then another one I'll throw out there is Eli Bowen. I think he's a guy that I think is going to get more opportunities at cornerback, even as a freshman, even in a game like this. I wouldn't be surprised to see him out there a little bit more, because he's a little undersized, but he plays, like they said, he plays like he's 6'3", 200 something pounds. So really like what I've seen from Eli Bowen this season.
That's what I was going to say, like the cornerbacks in general, because Tom, you talked about it earlier. One of the keys is stopping that deep threat pass and things like that. Obviously the safeties are going to be involved as well, but it seems like the most success teams have had on this defense is when they attack those man coverage one-on-one situations against OU's cornerbacks. So can they step up? Des Malone, guys like that. Kenai Walker, guys like that. Can they step up and show that they can't be messed with here? So let's see what happens. I mean, maybe Woody Washington gets thrown back out there at the cornerback position. Now that Deshaun McCullough's coming back. So let's see what happens with those corners and see where they are. I mean, that's kind of clearly an X factor in this game. How are they going to handle themselves?
Yeah, I completely agree. We talked about it a little bit in the post-Auburn podcast of watching it back. I felt a little better because they were in position. They just got to make the plays, frankly. And Brent Venables kind of talked about that. Tom, you actually asked him, in the press conference on Tuesday. And so it's kind of, a lot of things. But they definitely need a bounce back and to step up a little bit against Isaiah Bond and those Texas receivers. All right, I guess we'll try and pick this thing. Last year this didn't go well. We all picked Texas, and then obviously Oklahoma won the game. So we were A, wrong, and B, got roasted for being wrong and roasted before as well. That's not going to happen this year. We already know, because Colin on the Thursday pod, which anybody tuned in, hopefully you watched the Thursday pod, listened. He picked Oklahoma. Bit of a surprise. He took the Sooners 24-21. What do you guys think? I mean, this is it's the hardest game to pick, because you just, like James said at the beginning, it's a cliche of all cliches, but you really do have to try and ignore the rankings and things like that. It's just, this game's an entity of its own. James, you drew the short stick of starting here, so good luck. What do you think? OU Texas, where are you leaning?
Ignore everything that matters. Ignore everything that matters. Everything that we know going in, it seems to never be the case in the end. Like, it's not the situation in this game. And so crazy things happen. It's really the hardest game I feel like to pick in the country. Like it's one of those games. But I'm going with Colin here, man. I see it. I think it's 28-21. I don't know. I know he has 24, so that obviously means a field goal was made at some point in time. OU's field goal kicker's also out in this one, isn't he? Tyler
Keller's back.
Oh, no, he's back. Oh, yeah, he's back. Okay.
Back. So, but Zach Smith was good.
Yeah, Zach Smith was good.
Zach Smith might just have the job, frankly. That's kind of a –
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. But, yeah, I'm still going 28-21. I think OU gets a defensive touchdown in this game, which I think is what's going to have to happen for them to win, because I think this OU offense can get 3 touchdowns, but the defense touchdown has to help out to get that 4th and secure this game. I think that's where it's going to be. See some more Sooner magic. Can they do it again? Has it ever happened two times in one season? Like, an unbelievable situation happened with OU, but we'll see. We'll see here. Yeah,
I mean, I've been wrestling with it. I certainly felt before the season that almost no matter what, I was going to take Oklahoma after what happened last year. It's like, I'm not making that mistake again.
Mm-hmm.
I gave them the benefit of the doubt against Tennessee. It was not rewarded. I'm going to have to say Texas wins it. I'm going to go 31-24 Longhorns. If you're telling me to pick it with a number, I'm absolutely taking Oklahoma and the points. I think that 14.5 or 15-point spread, wherever you look, is way too big. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest for Oklahoma to win this game. I know that's a hedge. I'm doing it intentionally. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Oklahoma to win this game. But like I said before, in order to do that, they're going to have to play their best game of the season so far by a pretty wide margin. So to bank on that is hard. I do think Texas hasn't been tested. It could go either way. It's the OU Texas game. From what we've seen so far, the data we have, I'm going to say Texas wins a close one. But, it could go either way. And I know, again, I'm hedging, but it could go either way. But I'm going to say Texas does win 31-24 in a competitive game.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in the same boat as Josh. And look, I know I picked Texas
I hate
last
to be
year.
in this spot again.
I was wrong. We got roasted for it. We got excoriated. We got lambasted. Whatever word you want to use to describe the backlash that we got for being wrong in that regard. I just don't know. From what I've seen from Oklahoma's offense so far, I just don't know if they have the firepower to keep pace with Texas. Again, I think this defense is like playoff caliber and is good enough to keep Oklahoma in every single game this year. And I think the offense is going to look better coming out of the bye week, having an extra week to kind of tailor things around Mike Hawkins and what he's comfortable with, what he does well, what they think they can take advantage of. But I don't know, man. I just don't know if they have the firepower. I'm going to go Texas 27, Oklahoma 21. I would love to be wrong. I would love to be proven wrong for the second year in a row. Josh and I would both welcome that.
Yeah.
Oklahoma being better is better for us.
Yeah.
It makes things more interesting. But, again, I just don't know if the offense has shown enough to me to make me think that they can go out and win this game. But the defense is going to keep them in it. I think it's going to be close. Like Josh, I'll take Oklahoma in the points, but I think Texas, wins this one straight up.
And can I point out too? So we saw kind of this similar, like the same offense, some of these same guys on the field against Tennessee's defense in the second half of that game, and I think they played really well there. I mean, that's a close defense to what Texas can bring on this field. Statistically, that's what it says and things like that. If OU can keep that type of firepower going forward, I mean, getting those 2 touchdowns in the second half is why I think OU's offense can get 3 touchdowns in this game. Like getting 2 there, but having a full game to get 3, I think it's what is all that's needed to win this game. So I guess that kind of explains more of my reasoning here, but also obviously that's more of, trying to look at what's happened in the past and what's going to happen in this game. You can't really do it, but that's
it's
more
a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. It's going to be fascinating. I talked about on Monday, the mental aspect is really intriguing. Oklahoma's the big underdog. They get to have that benefit. I think if you were a Texas fan, maybe the one thing that would worry you, to play devil's advocate, is it's crazy to say for the OU Texas game to look ahead, but they do have Georgia next week. I do think that there's a chance Texas could be a little overconfident here. And the way the momentum swings, it's like if you get off to a bad start, it can kind of be hard to get it back, So we'll see. It's going to be fun. Can't wait. We're all going to be there, as always, at the Cotton Bowl on Saturday. 2:30 kick this year, like we said. A little different than normal. We're pumped up, though. Oklahoma has beat the AP number 1 team 7 times in their history. They're looking for number 8 on Saturday, and it's going to be a scene, as always. We're excited, and here we go. Oklahoma, Texas, the best. Can't wait. That's it for now. We'll be there down in Dallas on Saturday, like we said. Full coverage on the website already, Oklahoma247sports.com. 50% off an annual VIP subscription right now. Tons of coverage there and more to come all day Saturday from Dallas. Full post-game reaction after on the site, as well as here on the YouTube channel from, obviously, the team, us, all that good stuff. It's going to be a long and wild day in Dallas, as it always is. So that's it for now. We'll see you Saturday evening by the time we talk to you next from the Cotton Bowl. For Tom Green, James T. Jackson, I'm Josh Callaway signing off for now. We'll see you in Dallas.